Hello and welcome, everyone. We're thrilled to have you join this customer session, a candid conversation with IT leaders on Atera and AI. You're about to hear real stories and real results from forward-thinking IT leaders who've embraced AI and automation in their daily work. So whether you're curious or you're already deploying AI in your stack, I promise that this session will give you an honest insights, helpful lessons, and maybe even a laugh or two. So I'd love to start with some brief introductions. So to kick things off, let's meet our credible panelists. I'll ask each of you to briefly introduce yourselves. So please tell us about your organization and your role as IT leaders. So Palwinder, let's start with you.
Kelly, my name is Palwinder Chima. I'm a Senior VP of Technology at Starlight Investments. I manage the IT infrastructure. I'm responsible for managing the entire IT team, which includes the IT operations as well. Starlight Investment is a real estate asset management and investment firm. We operate across North America, across Canada, various states in in the United States, as well as the United Kingdom. So we manage both residential and commercial portfolios. Commercial portfolio more so on the Canadian side, but on the UK and the US, we mainly manage the residential portfolio. We also do purpose-built constructions. So we have developers who will construct the buildings for us, and once they're ready to be leased up, then we will lease up and then rent it to the tenants. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Elvi, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Elvi Garez, and I am the Global Service Desk Manager at TechnoServe. I'm part of a small team responsible for supporting more than 1,800 staff across a decentralized cloud-first environment. Most of our users work remotely in country field offices with varying levels of infrastructure. So it's critical that we provide secure, scalable IT to them. TechnoServe is a nonprofit organization that fights poverty by helping people in low-income countries build competitive farms, businesses, and industries. And we are in 30+ countries, partnering with local entrepreneurs, communities, and drive long economic growth using market-based solutions. Our team recently led the implementation of Atera, so we're really excited since we operate very decentralized. And this is kind of like the first step forward to centralizing help desk and remote monitoring.
Thank you for that, Elvi. And Marco, over to you.
Hello, my name is Marco Salazar. I'm the IT supervisor at Trinity Valley Electric Cooperative in Kaufman, Texas. We serve over 92,000 members. That's what we call the people that connect to our electricity. And our staff is about 250 or so. I manage an IT help desk that is for individuals, and we enjoy doing what we're doing. We're very hands-on, very motivated to help our users. And Atera has come in to help us not only get our job faster, but also do some of the security things that we need to do on a regular basis, making sure that those desktops are updated regularly, making sure that the operations are running well. We've been able to save time. We've been able to help our users better, and my team is pretty happy with the use of Atera because it's just helped us be more efficient and more proactive sometimes with things. So we really enjoy it.
Thank you for that, Marco, and gentlemen, welcome. Obviously, today our session is highly focused on autonomous IT, on AI. And I'd love to zoom in on setting the stage around AI. I'd love to hear what initially drew you to AI. So, what was happening in your IT environment that probably made you say, we need this? If there was a pain point or maybe a specific aha moment, I'd love to hear that. And maybe we'll start with you, Marco. I know you and I have had a few conversations specifically around AI Copilot. So I'd love to hear from you on how and why AI.
Because we're a very small department and we don't do what you guys do, which is multinational stuff. We don't have a big staff. So we've had to learn to do things on our own. And one of the things that we've had to learn to do is scripting. And the AI, the Copilot within the scripting area has been very good to help us just generate the scripts that we need to do to make sure that some of the settings are set up properly, that, that we are able to restrict some things, that we're able to install some things, that we're able to make changes universally. And that saved us having to go to every single computer to make these changes manually. And that's just one thing. The other thing that we really enjoy of on the new environment is the AI articles. It goes through all your help desk tickets and says, hey, I've noticed this trend. Let me show you an article. We're having to double check it, okay, to make sure that it is following our directions. But even if it is slightly incorrect, we're still able to go, okay, well, it's missing this step, or, this is the other thing that we need to do, and we're able to fix it. But it's helping us make sure that our procedures that we do on a regular basis are now fairly documented. There is a lot of stuff that happens in IT departments where people make the fix and they go to the next thing, and somebody says, okay, did we capture that? And the AI is helping us capture that automatically without having to worry about whether or not we did it right.
Okay. Pawinder, what was the tipping point in your case for your organization?
Sure. AI has been the buzzwords for the last few years, right? So in my IT, a few of the things that feedback I was getting from my employees as well as the business users was that, our response time is slow. There are many number of tickets coming to our IT help desk. We were looking for a way to reduce that. So I kind of did evaluation on my IT operations process, and then I kind of mapped out the process, and then I was trying to find what are the opportunities there, what are the manual processes or tasks that we can help improve. Again, the goal was to reduce the number of tickets coming to our IT so we can improve the response time and make our end user happy. So basically, then I started looking at system. I looked at the system that we currently use. They didn't really have any sort of the AI capability at that time that could support our needs. And then Atera came. I came across Atera, and then I started looking more into Atera. We kind of evaluate Atera for over almost a year, right? So we wanted to make the right decision, and then Atera has helped actually quite a bit, right? As Marco mentioned, the Copilot, for our technicians, it can help creating scripts, knowledge-based articles, even though we have, quite a few knowledge-based articles already uploaded into Atera. But it's great that Atera is actually learning as it's seeing the new trends or new cases, and it is actually Copilot is making recommendation on the new article creations, which is very, very, very helpful, right? So we started with a small number of articles, and now almost every day, my team will go into the AI center. They will review the suggestions or proposed articles, and then we will accept a lot of the articles. So, our knowledge base is now increasing. So what that is doing is actually now, that is helping our people to self-serve. Like, somebody from the business user is actually, inputting a problem into Atera system, and then Atera is able to look into those knowledge articles and able to provide the solutions. So again, it has been a great help. So, we rolled this out only about 9 weeks ago, but we have seen a lot of success already, a lot of great feedback that we have receiving from our people as well. So again, first experience with AI is particularly with Atera is that it has been very successful implementation for us so far.
Thank you for that, Pawinder. And we will put a focus specifically on the self-serve that you just talked about. That's what we're here to talk about today in terms of autonomous IT. So hold that thought. We're going to pick your brain a little bit around that. Elvi, from your perspective, again, as a global organization supporting people, what brought you into AI within Atera?
Well, thank you for asking. Since this was our first time centralizing our help desk, we wanted to make sure that we could provide as many tools as possible to the local tier 1 IT practitioner in a lot of these field sites in Latin America and Africa. So it was a no-brainer, like Marco mentioned, being a small IT team, a lot of these folks that are in the field often have IT becomes a secondary activity. So we wanted to make sure that these individuals had those tools, right, to troubleshoot themselves, to be able to resolve issues on their own, and be able to guide them through. So to be able to free up a lot of the time here at headquarters. So the AI was able to bridge that gap to help those individuals troubleshoot at their local level and even find solutions, create scripts along the way to help streamline things. So we saw a lot of time savings there, but also an increase in productivity and empowerment with these individuals that may not necessarily have a strong IT background from their day to day, but they're able to still engage and feel like they have the support they need to resolve issues. And, this kind of follows our organization's philosophy, where we seek out to help individuals help themselves even when we're not there. And it kind of just really leveled there and something that was really a really good experience there. The scripting and automations, that was a big selling point for us, especially being a small team as well, leaning on folks that are on the ground.
Perfect. And I think that you kind of overtook me on my next question on part of the impact. So I want to go back to Palwinder and ask, as an IT leader, from your perspective, are there certain processes or procedures or guidelines that you need to put in place within your organization as you evaluate AI capabilities to bring into your organization?
Yes, we in fact ISO 27001 certified on information security, right? So I mean, anytime we implementing any system, particularly the AI tools, we are very careful when we implementing that. We want to make sure, we comply to our policies and procedures. Our information security, our security information is not compromised, right? So, before I signed up with Atera, as I mentioned, I actually kind of evaluated for almost a year, just to ensure that, it not only that it has the features and functionality that we require, also like our information will be protected, in Atera Cloud. So I review, all the security procedures and policies that Atera has in place, their certification, their SOC 2s, their ISO certifications that actually gave me a comfort that, it's actually the right tool for me to implement. And then whatever the information that Atera will be storing on their systems will be secured.
Okay, thank you for that. And rolling it over to you, Marco, again, leading a team as you roll out AI tools and AI capabilities. Were there some certain steps that you needed to take internally, even with your team, in order to encourage adoption and maybe in some place also relieve the fear of a new tool?
Yeah, one of the things that we did as a team was we sat down together, we're a small team. So we sat down and had a discussion about it. We also had a conversation about, what data are you going to be putting in there? Yes, it is secure. Yes, it is safe. But by all means, do not put the real information in the system, right? Make a fake file share, make a fake computer name, provide a fake IP address, all that information. And, if you're going to have to put in some credentials for something, make sure that all that information is not the real information if you're going to try to run a script, so that even though it is secure, we want to make sure that that data is safe. Another thing that I did with them was running through the process of just showing them how we're doing it, how I was doing, how the sausage is made, and finally, I had them try. I told them, hey, just try it out. Try it out. You will see the benefit in it. And I had one of my technicians got really excited because they used the wizard in the app itself, and they were able to diagnose something, and they were like, wow, this is incredible. Just went ahead and got it done. So it's little things like that. It's making their life easier. Instead of having to spend hours upon hours looking for a solution, they can just ask the AI, hey, look into this, tell me what's happening. It will go look through the logs and say, well, these are 3 possibilities and these are 2 possible solutions. And that's got so much time for us just to be able to get things done.
Amazing. And to you, LV, again, if you want to add into what was asked earlier and and a little bit about what is maybe the biggest change that you've seen in your day-to-day operations since bringing on Atera and AI.
Well, we've seen a noticeable increase in overall technician confidence when working with devices and troubleshooting. And that really is driven by the AI support. Our local IT practitioners feel more empowered that they can resolve issues on their own more independently and effectively. Being in the US Eastern Standard, we have a pretty big significant time difference in Africa or in India. So being able to provide that we've seen huge levels of confidence within those technicians that are operating in those offices. As I mentioned earlier, by leveraging the automation and scripting, we've been able to reduce our provisioning time by about 60%, streamlining one of the most time-consuming workflows for those decentralized offices that don't depend on Intune or some, centralized provisioning process. Along with that, being able to use Splashtop for remote support and then being able to talk to the agent at the same time, we've seen resolution time go down by about 50%.
Wow.
In the past, we had to depend, and this is going to sound terrible. I'm sure some of you guys are going to cringe a little bit, but we've had to, because we didn't have Splashtop, we had to video conference and guide users to perform certain steps as part of the troubleshooting process. And then sometimes that wasn't as stable, right? But Splashtop has been great. So that reduction in 50% time has been a good experience across our decentralized organization. And previously, something that we didn't have visibility on was sort of like patch compliance. So, and also being able to identify and even some use of the AI filtering tools to sort of get to the nitty gritty of our compliance for patching. And now we've gotten to a point after 5 months, well, starting 5th month now, we're around 85 to 95% compliance with our critical and security patches. And that's just a start. It's a huge leap forward for endpoint security, which we had no visibility on. And the automations and alerts that come along with that really saves time. It almost feels like we have additional personnel just nonstop in the office looking after all our systems. So that's pretty fantastic. So altogether, all these improvements have freed up our time here at headquarters for the team itself to be able to focus on more strategic initiatives rather than just support routine tasks that, can take up time on the day-to-day, for so small teams that we have. I hope that answered your question.
Amazing. That answered my question. And thank you for those really clear numbers. And I think it's very important, again, as leaders, to have some metrics in order to look back and benchmark and understand, where those improvements are coming in, on top of morale and providing the tools. And from here, I want to move back to you, Palwinder. Your team has been pioneering Atera's AI Autopilot, okay? This is the solution that we launched here at Ateraverse, and that's huge. But I really want to hear from you. Tell us about the rollout experience, how you introduced it to your end users, and then, a little bit about the responses that you're getting from the users.
Yeah, for sure. Self-service. Yes. One of the reason that I chose Atera was for that, self-server. It's great that it can do Copilot to help our technician, but I also wanted to, because we operate in North America and we have presence in UK as well. And we get actually a lot of external users, not only Starlet employees, we also have third-party management companies that we support. They work in different time zones, right? And we only have one head office in Toronto, and then our IT team support from this office. So, which is Eastern time zone. So, we needed to, the struggle that we had is, when our team signs up, it's only 3 o'clock in the West Coast. And then, and for the UK, it's early hours, and our team doesn't actually sign in until their noon time, right? So the challenge we had was, okay, well, how do we actually support everyone? Because everybody's working on important projects, we always on the go, and we don't want, IT to be the bottleneck or the delay. So then, we thought of, okay, well, looking for a system that actually, can empower our end users. They can self-serve themselves, right? So Atera has helped us, greatly with that. The rollout was very successful. We actually did, we rolled it all in one shot. I said, okay, well, let's just do it all together. But before we did the rollout, there was a lot of preparation went into it. It's not only our network and infrastructure support. We also do a third-party application support. We have a property management and accounting platform that is, heavily being used across all the different business lines. We have other internal applications that we have designed. Obviously, one of the challenges that we had was, okay, well, how do we teach Atera all that? The applications that we have in place. What are they used for, and what are the sort of common issues that we receive from the users of those applications? So then, what we did was actually before we rolled out, we spent quite a bit of time in kind of creating the knowledge base articles and uploading into Atera. So now Atera has that, the knowledge. So, now that one thing we also did is we kind of like made it mandatory for our employees or every actually business user to use chat, which is Autopilot, right? There was an option to create a ticket manually, but we said, you know what, we want to give everybody, ability to, ask questions to AI through Autopilot. And what that does is actually now, with that, even it will still create a ticket, but then also does is it actually search the knowledge base for if somebody else has reported the issue, and if there's a knowledge base, it can actually provide them step-by-step resolution. That has helped greatly again. We have people in the UK office, they are signing in early in the morning, 9 o'clock their time, right, which is 4 a.m. In Toronto. All of my IT support team is still in bed and sleeping. And so now with this, they're able to self-serve, right? Not, as I said, not only the application support issue by looking at the knowledge base articles that we have, but also any sort of like network related issues. We have a Atera agent installed on Starlight provided laptops and desktop computers. For example, we have received some, some of the users in the UK office have some issues with, oh, my computer is slow, my Outlook is freezing, and Atera agent was able to actually, kick in and able to provide them as a resolution. Okay, why, it scanned, for example, it scanned the system, it did not find any performance issue, but it noticed like Outlook was lagging, and it actually helped user restart the Outlook, which can resolve the issue, right? So imagine now if the same user, considering that they have Outlook issue, and then, we work heavily in email as our main communication tool, right? And then imagine if that person had to now wait 4 hours for our team in the East Coast to sign in and then help them. Atera actually has self-served them, right? So that's actually a great sort of like use case for us. And then application support as well. As we uploading more and more knowledge base articles, and this Atera is now learning and is providing resolution to the end user. So with all that, what we have seen is, as I mentioned, we have rolled out this about 9 weeks ago. And in fact, actually yesterday, our senior management asked me to give them some stats around Atera and if this rollout is successful. And then actually yesterday I ran some numbers. So basically, it appears that we have reduced the number of tickets by 15% in the last nine weeks, and I can see that will only improve as we add more article, as Atera learns from our most common issues that we're receiving. It will only improve from here on, right? And then obviously by reducing the number of tickets, now what that did is now our technician they have a little more time, right, to maybe focus on high value tasks or more projects, or be like also being proactive and looking at the problems, and then looking at the solution proactively. And then not only that, it also actually has improved the response time. Now our technicians have a little more time on their hand to actually now, if AI cannot resolve something, and then they're able to now help resolve that issue quickly. And we have actually estimated that about 20% reduction in the response time in the first 9 weeks. And also that we calculated that it saved our technicians about 48 hours. Which is about like just over a week in the last 9 weeks, right? So it has been great so far. Self-service tool is working really, really good for us, and then it will only get better from here.
That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for that detailed explanation. And again, it's really great to see amazing results from a design partner, a first pioneer in just 9 weeks to witness 20% reduction. I want to turn to you, LV. I know that your organization is also probably with their foot forward to self-serve. Do you see a self-serve future for your organization as well? And you know, what would make that compelling for your perspective?
I do see it. And we actually just started having those initial conversations about implementation. And something that I believe a lot of IT teams do struggle with. I'm sure that Marco may echo as I echo with him. Creating a KBA articles, identifying things that should be converted into KBA articles, right? Things like that. Getting that knowledge base built out and making it more and more tailored based on the issues, right, that you have within the organization. Being a global organization and having your central IT team located in one place around the world can make it challenging, especially when there's like a 6, maybe 7 hour difference, or in the case in India, about 13 hours. So I see the possibility there for those nuanced tasks or issues that could be resolved just by reading a knowledge-based article or interacting with that general information. I could see a potential reduction there, and productivity to the end user. Because oftentimes folks will be like, well, I can't get to it. I guess I have to wait for IT. And then they kind of just stop there on their tracks and maybe go do something else, but that primary task they're trying to resolve wasn't there. So I see the self-serve journey has a lot of potential, especially as it starts to grow and integrate with more other SaaS applications out there. There is potential for those day-to-day tasks that will probably be off our plate, allowing us to work on those more high-value items that really drive mission forward for the organization.
Thank you. And Marco, from your perspective, I want to ask, do you think that a self-serve with a solution like IT Autopilot will depend on the type of organization and the type or work of end users in order to give them the empowerment to self-serve? Or is it really just a matter of time where IT departments will look to go to the path of self-serve?
We've started the discussion in my company, and I can tell you right now that there is a portion of us that is like, yeah, we probably need to add this self-serve option into our environment, because we know we have some users that keep asking the same simple questions that require a couple of quick little steps. I saw the demo and I was very impressed with it, especially some of the self-diagnosis things that the chat client offered. I think those alone will be a huge deal for an end user, because they would go, okay, let me use the chat client. Let's see what's going to happen. The chat client says, it looks like you need to restart Outlook. Let's go ahead and do it. I like that. I like that possibility. I also think that, it's just one of those things that is going to be coming forward. The expectation is that we're going to be available, that we're going to be there. And I'll tell you right now, we have people that start at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we have a department that works 24 hours a day. So it's not unheard of for us to be getting the occasional call in the middle of the night. Can you do this? And it's usually something that if we had a chat client, the chat client would have taken care of it, because it's a simple fix, right? It's not rocket surgery, it's something simple. And so I really can see us adopting that in the future, just to give our users more power to do some troubleshooting themselves. Now, does that mean that we're ever going to say, well, you need to use the chat client first? No. We are here to serve our users, and we're going to be the first ones to say, hey, let me help you out with that. But for future reference, maybe you may want to try the chat client. We're always about the soft touch. We're always about taking care of somebody. But at the same time, if they need it, we are going to make sure that chat client is available, so they can do their own, at least some basic troubleshooting before it gets escalated to us.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective, because again, internally, and I can tell you as a user, if IT gives me the option, I'll go for the easy one. I would rather speak to IT maybe. But as Palwinder showed, rolling it out and making it mandatory gets people to adopt or adapt to a certain way of working. And at the end, it serves everybody. But we know that no AI journey is 100% smooth. Okay, even if we want to, we'd like to believe it, there's always room for improvement. So let's be very candid. What were some of the biggest concerns you had going into this, Palwinder?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I was concerned about the information security, like how Atera is going to protect information. Its RMM, or the device management module is going to probably capture all the IP addresses and the computer names and so forth. How the information will be protected. But then, I was given comfort, once I received the security reports. How actually Atera handles the information security, and again, we are ISO 27001 certified, and so does Atera. So we both aligned on our information security policies. Other than that, I didn't really have any other concern.
Thank you. And Marco, to you, from your perspective, again, AI, learning, improving, what were your key concerns on that end?
My only concern, to be honest with you, was data security. I mean, two concerns. One was data security, and the second one was just teaching people how to do it right. Because it's not just, it's funny because there is this misconception that you're going to tell something to the AI and the AI is going to magically whip it out. That is not the case. You got to speak to it. You got to speak to it in the right way so it will know what to do. It's the whole garbage in, garbage out situation. You got to be able to define things. So that requires a little bit of a learning curve. But once you begin to learn how to apply those prompts, things get much easier. So two things: data security, which we already addressed, and the other one was just the learning curve of letting people to understand this is a tool. It's not a magic wand, and you need to be able to understand that this tool needs to be used properly.
Thank you for that. And I think finally, gentlemen, and we'll start with you, Elvi, if we are to help out those who are just beginning this journey, so if someone's feeling hesitant or unsure about using or implementing AI in their IT, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them?
Well, if they are hesitant, I would say start small, but be intentional. Don't try to automate everything all at once. Pick that 1, 2 high volume, low risk workflows and validate that the AI actually works. Get to see it firsthand. Test it out yourself. That's what we did here at TechnoServe. We tried it out in all the different types of scenarios we could throw at it. And we were satisfied with it. We're like, okay, let's implement it. This is sound. This is not just a general chatbot. There is some genuine effort being put into this tool. And like Marco mentioned, it's a tool. So it's only going to be as good as the user that's utilizing it. But if you're open to it, grow in learning, you're going to be able to make it work. It sort of aligns with the philosophy of just staying curious, right? Always trying to grow and learn. And that's something that I think this tool encompasses. And it does feel like a learning experience along the way when you're interacting with it, especially the Copilot.
Thank you so much. Palwinder, over to you. Any last piece of advice to anyone that's starting this journey?
Yeah, I would say for those who are actually looking to start on AI, especially in their IT operations, I would say don't wait, do it now, because AI has to learn within your environment. So that's actually one of the reasons I actually was one of the early adopters on the self-serve, using Autopilot, because I knew that it's not going to know until I implement and it learns from the issues that we receive in our IT operations, right? And then, that's my, one advice is to, start now if you want to start. And it's going to take a little bit of time, right, for AI to learn, but over time it will only improve. And we have seen that results within the last six weeks already. And then another thing is planning is very important, right, before you implement, and then communication and education to your internal employees as well, because they will be concerned, okay, well, you're implementing AI, what's that going to do to us, right? Like, it's going to take my job away, or like, what is that? So just tell them, okay, well, don't think about what it will what action it will do, it will take instead of you, but instead just think about like what AI can help you with, right? It's all about working with AI. I don't think AI is going to replace anybody, right? But it's like, as soon as people understand that AI is there to help them, they will adapt the solution very well, and then it will be a success story.
Thank you. And Marco, last but not least, any words of advice?
Give it a try. Try it out. There is no better time than the present. If you have concern about safety and security, you can always reach out to the Atera team and ask them questions about what's going to happen with your data. I know for a fact that the data is secure, but just learn. You gotta just jump in and get it done, because otherwise, you're gonna miss out. It is a great tool, but as any tool, you need to learn to use it.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. I want to say thank you for sharing your stories and your insights. So from automation culture to hands-free IT we heard today, it's inspiring to hear how AI is really transforming your teams and making a real impactful difference with measurable results. And for those of you in the audience, if you are ready to explore what AI can do for your organization, the Atera's team is here to help. So please reach out and we would be more than happy to provide you the relevant information. So once again, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.